connection with his creator, and that we call in the Baha'i faith the spirit of faith, Abdullah says. Or I call it connections. We get connected like an internet. So if we understand this order of priority, we know that, we can see that the spiritual self is controlling the human desires, and the human desires is, ruling the animal self, and the animal self taking care of the vegetable, and vegetable is taking care of the materials. The body, the material that's in the body, if it falls down on the floor, it'll die and decay. What keeps it together for many, many years? It's the spirit of vegetable. Because it tells to the body, I need this and I need that out, I need this in. Therefore, it is the self that keeps the body alive, circulating the blood, makes it to run, to work. But that comes into the control of animal, and animal into human, and human into his spiritual soul. Now, if we don't understand in this sequence of the things, so I have a material, I have a vegetable, I have a human, I have an animal, I have a human, I have a spirit. Who has to be in charge? By the nature of God, by the order of priority, by the constitution of this universe, as Abdul-Baha mentions in the first chapter of the Some Answered Questions, it has to be in the hand of the spiritual self. Okay? So, I've written many, many examples to explain. Let's say we break this order of priority, as many of us do. There's two types of people, really. Some of them have most people have no spiritual self. Their humanity is in the control of their selves. There's no spiritual self in there. And the other type of people, their human falls under their animal selves. And then that is where the problem comes. If it is in the hand of human, let's say, we don't, let's say, if it's in the hand of a spirit doesn't drink wine. Not drinking wine or not smoking, I don't know. Some of this stuff people do. It automatically makes the human self in us, the animal self, the vegetable self, everybody gets profits out of it, gets benefit. But if it goes the other way around, animal controls, then animal wants to eat too much of food in a places that it does not consider there's a higher level of self such as human exists. It could embarrass the soul of a human all the time. Or human makes wrong decisions that becomes very, very costly. So for example, I've written another example. The human self is married, but it again falls in love with somebody else. He says, I don't know, my heart says, no, she or he's nice. But he's married. He still looks. What's the human desire? If you do that, what's the result of that? Divorce, stress, fight, children suffering, a lot of things. But if the spiritual self was in control, the spiritual self would not allow this to happen. It would not. Just like when the man is under control, not animal, man does not let the body goes and drinks from the toilet when he's thirsty. He doesn't let him to take the food off the floor. Human says, no, don't do it. Animal says, nah, I don't care. Human says, no. I say no. The same way, if we don't have the spiritual self and we're going to follow our own desires, there's a problem. The guy, human self, wants to become a president. He wants to become famous. He wants to have a lot of money. Presidency goes over, finishes, and now he has to live with all this problem that comes with it afterwards, because he can't even be in the society. Everywhere he goes, he's singled out. So to understand this order of priority, then we can create balance in ourselves. We don't know this, lots of trouble happens in our life. And this has to become travels through its evolution from a feeling. You felt good when you had some moderation, some regulation, some tidy up. You were wise, you were tactful, all of that. You had some balance showed. That's a window shopping. You have to develop the feeling to become a habit. The habit has to become ethics. The ethics has to get into the actions. Practicing balance and moderations. Control the feeling. Then you have a control mechanism in your soul. Without it, you're driving a car with no brake. You're bound to have an accident. Okay. But some people say that, well, what about those people in Iran? Many of the Baha'is in Iran right now suffering. They're Baha'is. Their entire wealth, all their money, all their life, their livelihood is confiscated. In many cases, mom and dad are put in prison or they're killed. Children are taken away. And so where's the balance coming there? The story is that, I mentioned that before, unlike any other ideology, a Baha'i has never been forced to do anything really. He always has the choice. They tell him that this is your money, this is your life, this is your job, this is your children, you want them, welcome. Just say you're not a Baha'i. But you have a choice. You can say you're a Baha'i and we're going to take all of that away. So, we don't know. But those who engage in these things, for some reason, they have this order of priority ruling over them. Their soul is so strong that looks at it, he finds it to be a very good deal. I'm giving away my house, my health, my freedom, which is a short period of time, and I shall be permanently, perpetually, becomes immortal. In the next life, I have the power forever. They see this. Okay? To them, it's a great deal. But some of my friends, like Mr. Kavian Sadegzadeh, who writes a lot of essays, you know, all in defense of these people in Iran, inviting the rest of us to help them and this and that. He's looking in the eye of the human self. He's looking at it as a human being, as a human self. What I mean, human self. He's not considering the spiritual self that's governing these individuals. To them it's a great deal, or they wouldn't go through it. In one of the tablets, I've read it in Persian, Abdul-Baha says, God increase the pain, increase the problem, give us more of the trouble. Let this, the chalice of the tribulations increases. More, the more the problem, he says. Why is that? It's because it's such a great deal. You hear in the movies, the guy says that, the devil says that, I'll take your soul and I give you an eternal pleasure for this or wealth or that. It's other way around too. In this case, they have a choice. They like to give up what they have for something that's better. But Kavian doesn't see it because he's scared. He's afraid. Fear dominating his being. The other Sadaqzadeh that was in Iran, a member of the National Spiritual Assembly, he was actually the head of the hospital in Missouri, head of the, I think, department of the psychiatrists at the hospital in Missouri. He comes to Iran. He had the choice to leave at the beginning of revolution. He decided not to. He saw in the window opening an opportunity to become immortal, powerful. So he did not falter. I'll go through. I met that man. That Sadaqzadeh was different, you know. So I don't know. I say today, God increase the pain for all the Baha'is of the world. Make them to suffer. Make all the people of the world to attack us. All of them. Only when we are attacked and pressed, the coal of the soul will turn into diamond. Then the readings of Baha'u'llah comes into